Right, we continue. In fact, cybercrime has become a serious threat to South African consumers and businesses, with scammers leveraging the latest and most innovative methods to stake their claim on their victims' hard-earned money. And from SIM swap scams, which are a form of social engineering attack, where perpetrators trick mobile carriers into transferring a victim's phone number to a new SIM card, to even deepfake audio and video manipulations. Scammers are now using increasingly sophisticated methods to target their victims. Our cybercrime expert, Dr. Craig Pederson, joins us virtually to chat a little bit further. Dr. Craig, good morning. Thank you for your time here on the SABC at this hour.
Good morning. Thanks so much for having me. Not quite doctor yet. Hopefully starting my PhD in the new year, but it'll get there.
Leave it at Craig for now. Thanks for that correction. I mean, we're just looking at the phenomenons that is occurring, and it seems that, scammers are always one step ahead at this point. The scams are ever evolving. I mean, are we ever going to win this fight in protecting ourselves from it at large?
Not the way we're going at the moment, no. You're quite right. The ability and the tenacity with which scammers can evolve is really a big part of the problem. What we see is tomorrow morning, if we're tossed back into the age of load shedding, you're going to find that by mid-afternoon, the scammers are going to be, there's going to be solar on offer, they're going to have cheap batteries on offer, because they reinvent a concept. They don't reinvent a business with real logistics and the cash flow requirements that a business would require. All they want to do is take advantage of hype, take people's money, and they're gone. If we were into water flow meters tomorrow, it would be the same thing. And if there was a shortage of matchsticks on Wednesday, the scammers would be out there with brand new matchstick factories and matchstick investment opportunities. It's that quick and easy to reinvent themselves and to adapt to changing markets, changing requirements, and really they're offering smoke and mirrors, which is always going to be quicker and easier to provide than bricks and mortar business.
What about SIM swap attacks, social engineering attacks, duplication of SIM cards that's again come to the fore?
Yeah, so duplication of SIM cards and the old SIM swap, not quite new. It's been around for a while. We've just seen it recently done on a more organized and a larger scale. It is still an issue. About 7 years ago, South Africa went through a period where the different cellular networks had to tighten down things quite substantially because the average consumer's SIM card could just be taken away from them by random SIM swap. Network providers responded to that. It became a lot tighter, and everyone realized, whoa, hold on, my internet banking is linked to that SIM card. We need to pay attention. Is it still a factor? Yes, clearly it is. Not as broad as it used to be, but it is still an issue. In the consumer level, we see more of a phishing attack where elderly people get these phone calls. Hi, this is John. I'm calling from whichever bank's fraud department. Did you just run a transaction on your credit card for 50,000 Rand? Consumers immediately, I don't know what you're talking about. And before you know it, they wrap up the conversation. No problem. Your helpful bank has spotted that evil transaction, and they're going to send you a reference number on your phone as an SMS, which is, of course, a PIN code. And people give that out.
And these are obviously worrying tactics, particularly for the most vulnerable, because when we're looking at the role of service providers, them tracking when something like this happens, what are some of those methods that have come to the fore? And then again, if we're looking at deepfake audio or video technology that's used to mimic CEOs or well-known personalities for that matter, to convince employees or people alike to act on these fraudulent instructions. What concerns arise on that front as well?
Well, we've seen on an international scale, we've definitely seen a rise in CEO impersonation via the use of voice notes, taking voice clips, using AI engines to make them a little bit more credible, to neaten them up a little bit and make them quite presentable so that a scammer can phone the office sounding like a CEO, using the right terminology that the CEO would, and getting them to make payments that they otherwise wouldn't do. In South Africa, we haven't seen a lot of it, but it is there. We've certainly seen far more AI influence in online dating scams, for example, where previously the first question in a dating scam would be, have you ever seen this person on a webcam? Because you haven't. They're going to hide from the camera. Now they don't. They're able to use AI to use face morphing techniques and present quite confidently on camera with their targets, which makes detection even harder. The second part of the question, of course, is where we do have incidents like that. One of the most challenging dynamics of cybercrime is you have a victim in Cape Town, you have a suspect in the DRC, and the money has moved through the Seychelles. So you have three different jurisdictions to work through, to respect, to present evidence to it in equal form, and a lot of cooperation that's needed between the different parties and banks and law enforcement in order to put the whole trail together.
Sure.
And that takes time. And that's the problem.
Absolutely. But Craig, it can't be all doom and gloom, right? There are campaigns, there are awareness initiatives that are going around. There's the Momentum Circle of Safety campaign as well. Talk to us a little bit more about that and how that's also going to be impactful for the public at large.
It's actually a terrific program. Momentum have been running this for a while now with the Mandy Wiener video inserts and radio and television coverage, and the concept is a duality. From the top, you're attacking cybercrime at organized structural level via law enforcement and legislation. From the bottom, you're trying to narrow that victim pool. If you can educate their victims, they're not going to become victims. And you can actually starve organized cyber criminals of their day-to-day income. So it's really important that we get that message out there. And one of the challenges always been getting companies to come on board and take a proactive approach and not a reactive approach. And saying, let's rather teach people and make them cyber savvy rather than deal with the fallout later. So I personally love the program. That's why I'm sort of always around supporting it where I can, because it prevents people from being a victim. And in cybercrime, you're not just preventing them from becoming a victim today. You are educating them so that they're never going to be a victim. And that will slowly over time is going to bring around change and even generational change in how cyber aware people are in South Africa.
Well, Craig, there are obviously concerns, especially as we head into the festive season, but it's nice to know that there are ways and means to mitigate against some of those challenges that are, again, coming to the fore. Thank you for your time here on the SABC at the Hour. We're going to leave the conversation there for now. Craig Pederson this morning sharing some insights on how to stay informed regarding the latest scams, as well as staying safe from cyber criminals at large.